John, we're here for our biannual catch-up at ADIPEC. How's it been?
Busy, really busy. I think from the last time we were here 2 years ago, the number of people that's been coming through, and I think even the number of halls and stands has increased. So that's the first thing I noticed, absolutely massive. And the second thing is more sort of technology driven. Since more technology I've seen this year than in previous years.
Key takeaways from yourself?
Yeah, it's interesting because from the last time that we were here, I think the market was kind of on an upward trajectory, but the full confidence probably wasn't there. What you're definitely seeing this time is that there's an awful lot more activity, there's an awful lot more drive, there's an awful lot more ambition for the operators to develop and for oil to be produced. And I think that's really interesting because what you can see is and you can see it on the stands as well. There's a definite viable optimism from even the supply chain.
Now, from your own business point of view, particular things you came here looking for that you found, change your ideas?
A couple of different things really, so when we look at it from our business perspective, for us Hall 15 was kind of one of the key areas. That's the marine logistics hall, so basically in there you had a lot of the vessel owners and operators all really looking at sort of the transportation and logistics involved with the sector here regionally, but also internationally, because I think that's another thing. This conference is very much a global conference. Everybody's from everywhere here, and there's a lot of business from a lot of different countries.
Agreed.
And then on side of that, sort of in the main halls where you have the operators, so one of our biggest clients in UAE is ADNOC across all the services. So obviously sort of having time with them and then the vessel owners and operators. A lot of the areas when we get involved in particularly in construction projects for marine warranty surveying, we're working indirectly either with the operators or with the installation contractors. So again, these are all our sort of client base and the guys we want to see, and so there's great opportunities to take time to meet them, see them on their stands. But then the other aspect on top of that was really basically looking at different types of technologies as well. And it is fascinating, because you have to keep on top of what technologies are out there. Our clients and customers are there to try and speak to us to understand what are the changing parameters, what are the things that are moving, and how can that impact their business. And simple things like tank inspections with drones, some really nice technology. We do those type of tanks inspections. If you can minimize, tank entry procedures, that's safer. You have less of an impact on individuals, and you can do the same job that's required. So again, it's kind of looking at these different technologies, but it's just been a plethora of things to really get into.
I suppose very quickly, 3 key things popped up with AI. Just the ubiquitousness of it. Now, granted, it's still new, and AI means AI means many things to many people, and some AI has been around with 30, 40 years, and obviously Gen AI, large language models, is kind of the new kid in the block. 3 things. Big lot of discussions around the massive AI data centers we will need in the future for these large language models, and where do we get the energy for them, right? It is non-trivial, 100 megawatts, 150 megawatts, some I'm looking at about a gigawatt. So where can you build them? And obviously regions like this that are energy rich are kind of going, hey, think about this.
Yep.
Second one was all about, obviously, I spoke to a lot of companies and they're like, well, we're using the AI with a physics-based model. We don't care about the underlying asset. We don't care if it's from this company, that company, whatever. We're not worried about that. We're not doing predictive maintenance on the thing. We're doing We're analyzing, we have a co-pilot for you to run your operations at the level above the hardware. We're abstracting the hardware, and we're just watching pressure and this, and we're using AI and co-pilot. So I found that fascinating. And the last one, I suppose, was obviously AI was the flavor of the month, but there was not that many people talking about what I would call the small language model, where AI comes out to the edge. Now, I came across a couple of companies, and what I mean by out of the edge is they have NVIDIA GPU chips technology in the edge device with their tensor cores, so you can run your AI algorithm at the edge, not in the big cloud in the sky.
So locally?
Just in the device, on the rig, in the camera, whatever. And obviously large language models, massive data centers, that's a key part of the future. but moving more AI out to the edge, and I mean like generative AI, not just machine learning and.
Yeah.
So there was a couple of companies talking about that. So I thought there'd be more, but as I say, we're still. You spoke about drones. Like I've been talking about drones for 10 years. Now you walk around here and like drones are not new. It's just like, sure, of course we're using drones. Now we're building them into our workflows. They're becoming ubiquitous. It's just a tool, but it's interesting.
It's a very early stage, and it is interesting what you're saying, because like I kind of looked at it from the other side, where it's basically about how's AI going to be used, and a lot of people, particularly like when you're engineers or consultants, or you think about what's the threat. And one of the talks that we were at this morning had some really interesting takeaways, and basically one of the lines that I thought quite liked was AI isn't a threat to the individual. A person using AI is a threat to the individual. And that's the thing, because I think a lot of that is about trying to get the understanding about how you can not be afraid of AI and learn to embrace it and learn to recognize that there's ways that it can help you and improve and create those efficiencies and create those optimizations. And I think the reality is, for a lot of supply chain, when you're getting big messages, particularly from the operators, the supply chain have to take that on board, because they're saying that because they want to see it. They want to see it from their supply chain so they can integrate it. And then the other aspect is just data. And again, another nice quote I got this morning was, oil wells produce more data than oil. I thought that was a nice link, So basically, really, what it is, they're trying to identify how best to use that data and how to manage it. So it's fascinating insights.
I think we're just starting to scrape the surface, because your point about the AI is not going to take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI might. And yet we still have a massive skilled labour shortage worldwide, right?
Yeah.
I don't care what country you're in, engineers, you name it, right?
Project managers, the lot.
Just across the board. So AI, this Copilot will help you. There is no doubt that the more data you throw at a large language model, there's kind of a hockey stick curve of the benefits that you get out. So large language models are here to stay. Mega data centers are here to stay. But as I say, we'll see a lot more stuff out at the edge. And the other thing I suppose here is quite interesting, and you got to give them credit. The UAE has an AI strategy. ADNOC has an AI strategy. You've got AIQ, you got G42. There's a bit of joined up thinking going on here in this neck of the woods. And I think just said in the opening statement, AI is not a fad, it is here to stay.
Correct.
And they want to be seen as a center of excellence right across the board. So now we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's almost like it's the new energy transition. A couple of years ago, we'd have been talking this much about energy transition. And it's not that energy transition's gone away, it's just the fact that it's become a part of the vernacular. And in some respects, I think from your, your boots on the ground, people in the workforce, you're seeing more AI influence things. It's not just Amazon anymore,
But there was a couple of presentations and sessions, chats I was on about, was like we are now able to, with a large language model, go through so many chemical combinations for new chemistry for batteries that we could never do before, because we'd pick a few and we'd try it, blah, blah. So the simulation capabilities.
Yes.
And the what if and the whatever. But it's just becoming pervasive in so many pieces. Now again, scratch the surface. Let's come back in a couple of years. We've all seen the hype cycles with tech before.
Exactly.
But certainly I was expecting the whole AI hype. I just didn't think there would be so much concrete stuff about it. Now still there's a lot of marketing going on, but it's been a busy week.
There's a lot to it, But again, I think the underlying fact is you can see the trends. We talked about AI, which means data centers, which means massive amounts of power, which means again a hybrid of oil and gas, traditional hydrocarbons, and renewables. So I think what is kind of hitting home as well when you look at some of this is that fact that energy in its multiple forms isn't going anywhere. You're still going to have a domination by oil and gas. I think the first one off the line is still planned to be coal, but it's going to continue to be an energy ecosystem, which will have solar, which will have wind, which will have hydrogen, which will have the storage capacities, but will also have oil and gas. And the amount of drilling that's happening, the amount of work that's happening, there's it creates an optimism for our supply chain, but it also helps finance what the other drivers are within the energy transition.
Well, you know, as you say, the energy transition is not slowing down.
No.
Energy is not going away. We need more efficiency. We need more production. We have less workers. We're resource strained, and a lot of people are looking at, well, maybe AI is a way of making us be more efficient or find things faster or cleverer. But let's see. But anyway, no, it's been a busy week. I'll be happy to go home and get some sleep.
No, it's been a great week. I always love coming here. It's a great environment. It's a great atmosphere. And it's great catching up with yourself. And no, it's been brilliant.
I know. It really, you know, as Christopher Hudson says, it really is the biggest energy event on the planet, right?
No doubt.
There must be at least 200,000 people gone through the doors here this week.
Easily.
It's amazing chaos. Good to see you, man.
You too.